Welcome to the Honor Among Men podcast. To the right of me, we have
Mikey Mike.
Yeah. And to the left of me, we have
The Earth.
Yeah. We in this thing one more time, man. Round of applause. You know what I'm saying? We in this thing one more time. We gonna be talking about everything that there is to talk about. So go on right ahead and put it out. Nah, but yeah, we gonna be talking about everything, man. Politics, sports, news. We gonna laugh, we gonna joke. It's coming from a man of God's perspective. I am a man of God. Mikey Mike, you a man of God?
For sure.
Of course. B. Irv, you a man of God?
You already know it, sir.
Of course. So let's get right to it, man. It's been a lot going on this week, man. I just want to start with a few topics. We was kind of discussing a few things earlier. The first thing, man, what's the first thing I want to talk about? What was we talking about earlier, bro?
Might as well go to the Papa.
Oh, yeah, Papa John's. That is. I got him on my phone, too. But, yeah, that is what I wanted to holler about. Y'all heard about that, Papa John's?
You know, I just actually caught wind of it.
Yeah, me too, low key.
A little bit, maybe a couple hours ago.
Yeah. I was literally, right before the show, I was literally sitting here, like, just kind of looking over what had happened. So I guess he had said the N-word, you know what I mean? And they hired some, it sounded like they pulled like a Starbucks on him alone, though, and like hired a company for like how not to be racist training or how not to be racially inappropriate training.
Yeah, you know, because it started with the NFL movement with the players kneeling.
Okay.
And he was Papa John's was the official pizza for the NFL.
Right.
And he was saying like they shouldn't be kneeling and was basically talking against the players kneeling.
Right.
So he lost a lot of money because, you know, black people wasn't supporting his business anymore.
Right.
And after that, you know, basically they brought somebody in for PR.
That was actually a whole thing too, like, cause I remember seeing a bunch of videos about how sweet they saw. Like, that sauce too sweet anyway. Like, right. I don't nobody really like Papa John's. I like Papa John's though. They pizza
horrible.
Trash.
Whoa.
Outside of the NFL.
Okay.
Trash.
Clearly I'm alone here.
Yeah, trash.
I actually do prefer Pizza Hut, but I mean, you know, when it's time for Papa John's, it's time for Papa John's. They said it's trash though. But anyway, so that whole thing happened. And then I guess like I said, they hire some people to give him that type of training. And he made another statement in an interview that basically said, he talked about Colonel Sanders. When Colonel Sanders was alive, he used to call people the N-word all the time. Like, why can't I? Colonel Sanders used to do it.
Hey, see, I didn't even get that deep into the story. I didn't know all that.
Bro, that was kind of crazy to me. Like, wait a minute. So since Colonel Sanders... Say it again.
He was like, at least I ain't say that.
Right. Wow. Yeah, like.
Okay.
Or that many times. Because eventually he said it at some point.
Yeah. He said a bunch of inappropriate. He used it a bunch of inappropriate ways. Like, I guess he's from Ohio, so he talked about, or Indiana. And he talked about how in Indiana they used to drag black people from the back of trucks. So it was almost, and that's what Mike talking about. It's almost like, well, at least I'm not doing that. Right. Like, that's how he, like, really? Yeah, like, that's how he
it's 2018
felt. Yeah.
Right.
Like, wow, you want points. You want points for not dragging black people in the back.
You know what? As soon as you said he's from Indiana, it was like,
hey, that makes sense, huh?
Makes a lot of sense.
You are from the Midwest, right?
Not even, but Indiana in particular. Indiana is where the KKK started. Yeah, that's where they started. So, yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Makes sense, huh?
Yeah. Especially if you say he's from like Fort Wayne.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So That makes a lot of sense now.
So we being sensitive.
Oh yeah, you already know Mike on his black people need to stop being so sensitive type of deal, huh? So it's okay. I know that's not what you're saying, that it's okay that he's that he used the N-word. But what are you saying? Because I know you're not saying that.
I think we just like take everything that people say and just like, they're talking about me. They making me feel like I'm less than human. Like, what does what he's saying mean anything to you? Like,
okay,
he's racist. Well,
so forget him and forget what he's saying, because
like who? Everybody
it's irrelevant.
Identify with race and look at people and judge them off of their race as soon as they see them. So if he embedded and bred to think like he think, like, move on. Like it's not making us. When if he say black people are N-words or they trying to coach him to say things like what the players were kneeling for has nothing to do with pizza.
Word.
It's my food. Like, okay, if I eat this pizza or if I don't.
But his sales were suffering. So I guess
we know what he was doing. Like, we ain't eating there no more. So why we giving him power by talking? Any publicity is publicity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bad
publicity.
Or good, his name's out there. So
Word.
We sitting there, we bringing his name up, talking about him, like hyping him up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could just move on. Like Papa John's without money. You see, Papa John's ain't. I mean, not Papa John's. Domino's. They ain't out there talking about N-word this, N-word that.
Yeah.
Know. Some people know.
Domino's out here fixing the streets, fixing the potholes in the streets.
They out here trying to make a move.
They out here trying to do it big. I ain't never heard of a restaurant like, yo.
But I think on that note, since he was in that position and he used that word, and we was in a position to punish him financially,
we had to do what we had to do.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? We would have to pay. He was in, like, now you can't get mad over everybody that used the N-word, or don't even let it really affect you. But we was in a position to make it affect what he did. So we did it.
There's consequences.
Consequences.
There's consequences to your actions.
Definitely.
I definitely agree with that. I also do agree with the fact that, we can't let every time somebody say something racially offensive, we can't let it get to us. This is the way of the world. This is the way of America. And so for us to get bent out of shape, because I'm going to say it like this, and I know y'all can relate. Like if I reacted the way I wanted to react, like I'd have been in jail a long time ago. After every time somebody says something racially offensive to me, like I'd have been in jail a long time ago. Now I done definitely got into some arguments, got into some fights. You know what I'm saying? And it's done went down behind somebody saying whatever they say. As far as it being racially offensive, but at some point I'm like, man, look. Something gotta give. Like I can't keep responding this way.
I can't give you that power over me.
I can't give you that power over me.
I'm gonna say something.
Say
Y'all
something.
ain't gonna agree with me.
Say something.
I think it's okay that he said it.
Okay.
Personally,
go there.
Like,
go with it. You're going to have to elaborate on that.
Like I think it's okay if people say the N-word,
because
I
already know where you're going.
That way.
I knew that's what you was gonna say.
He feel I don't like black people. Him saying it and feeling
Say
it means
what?
It means what to me? Like,
So you mean just get it out there in the open?
like,
So we know who you are.
You know who you are. Like, why
Right.
fake the funk for me? Like, I love black people. And at the end of when you at home, like, I hate them. Like the guy that owned the LA team, Clippers.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
yeah,
dating
yeah.
his sister. He had a younger
Oh,
black lady. and
Donald
everything.
Sterling.
Donald
Yeah.
Sterling. But he had a whole basketball team. NBA more than half black.
80%.
And he didn't like the black players he had, but he was calling the N-words. They made him sell his team. But if he was just honest, like, yeah.
Didn't the team sell for like $12 billion too?
It was a lot of money.
Didn't that
It was
happen?
definitely a lot of money.
I remember like $12 billion. That's a
But
lot.
I think I do get what you're saying, because that like that situation, I had this conversation a lot. That conversation just made all the other racist owners go back into their closet, because it wasn't like, because that's basically all they did. They just made him sell his team. You feel me? It was just like, it wasn't like, I think they could have punished him differently. You know what I'm saying? And try to like give him some education, or do something more than just snatch his team away. Because that just made all the other racist team owners in every sport just like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed then. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let these people know how I really feel.
So then you agree that.
But I'm not
saying. I'm saying that we need to know how people feel.
Yeah, we definitely need to know how people feel. But at the same, but that's good that we're able to punish them in the right way.
Okay, so let me ask you, why do we need to know how people feel? Why is it so important that we know who the racist people are?
Me?
Either one of y'all.
I just think it's just keeping it 100, so you know who you dealing with. You know how much I can trust you, how far I can go with you. I can't politic with you too heavy if you don't bang with me. Like,
I want them to speak their truth.
Speak your truth.
Speak your truth.
And that's not to say like I'm a Christian. We talking about Christians.
Absolutely.
As a Christian, I'm like, I know who get down with me and who don't.
So we can admit that there are there racist Christians out here?
I think there are Christians that discriminate.
I think that's an oxymoron.
Racist Christians?
Yeah, I think
I feel like that's I feel like if you're racist, even if you claim Christian, then you're not.
Right. I think the word racist, I agree with both of y'all. I don't think they're racist Christians, but I think it's a natural human reaction to discriminate
or show favoritism
towards
something that you relate to, or someone that you relate to.
So it don't matter if it's race. Like, I'm black, so more likely I'm gonna have a lot more in common with you guys as opposed to somebody else that wasn't raised in my culture that may not predominantly won't be the same thing that I am.
Word.
That don't mean I'm racist towards them per se.
Right.
But if I judge them off of their race, I am being racist technically. But I'm not.
Or racist. Are you just being like
racist? I'm just.
Is that racist though?
Responding to someone because of their race.
I just don't. I don't think that's racist.
Doing what? I don't.
Discriminating because somebody because of their race, judging someone off of their race.
That's prejudice. Racism is like disliking you because of your race.
Well, so
we went over this.
No. I think like racism. Because here's how I've heard it explained, and this is what I tend to agree with. I'll put it like that. Racism is a system. Racism is a system that is literally designed to keep us back, or keep someone of a different ethnicity than white people back. Right. And so I've heard people say black people can't be racist. They can be like racially inappropriate, or they can be prejudiced, because prejudice literally means to prejudge. Like when you go with etymology and the origin of all that stuff, prejudice is literally prejudging.
Right.
So I think inherently we're all prejudiced, like 100%. But as far as racism is concerned, racism is that system that says, no, you're Hispanic, you can't. You're black, you can't. Like, you're Filipino, you can't.
Well, it's not about any of that though. At the end of the day, we just saying, if you don't like black people and you feel that way. Feel that way. I can't control you to make you like me. I can't bring a PR team in there and say, this is how you should respond to black people, because it's fake. And then eventually when you get upset, your real person is going to come out. Anyway, so why pay, like what they were talking about, he lost a lot of money, over $70 million in the stocks.
That is what they said. They said his joint dropped 11%, and that 11% equaled to $70 million out of his pocket.
What is that to him?
Whoa.
That's a lot of money. That sounds like a lot of money, but
for him to try and clean it up in the media like that, that's a lot of money.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like because you already know, like he's into other things, and he's literally the owner of Papa John. So he's the owner and CEO, right?
So, like,
you know what I mean? So that's bread, and even him stepping down from the CEO position, he ain't missing out on the bread that's coming in. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that 70 million is kind of like, to me, like a drop in the bucket. That's just how I feel about it. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think I do agree that, you know, it's important or beneficial to a certain extent for us to be able to see, you know, how people rock. Like, I don't want to be in your face and you hate me.
Right.
I don't really want to be in your face like that. Like, now, if we doing if it's a business transaction or whatever it is, you know, we gonna do business and then we gonna go about our way. But I don't want to be in your face and you just like despise me.
We the most racist people out there.
Black people.
That's impossible.
Right. So, which means you don't agree with what I just said about.
Right. When you said that, I cringed.
We can't make us. We don't have the tools to make a system.
Right. So you don't agree with that definition of racism then?
No.
Okay.
So what's your definition?
What is racism?
When you look at someone and you judge them because of the race that you see.
That's prejudice.
But that sounds like prejudice.
If you look up prejudice in the dictionary, that's
prejudge.
What that says.
Yeah, but that's just using linguistics.
So that's like a play on words.
Play on words. When we use the word racist, what we're talking about is somebody discriminating us.
So essentially what you're saying is racist and prejudice is the same thing.
Right, okay.
And that's what we look at it. When we say, oh, he's racist, he's
I just feel like I don't agree with that.
When we look at every black person, we look at people like we say stuff so in our regular conversation like, oh, you speak white, you light skin,
right? But that's a thing though. Well, now that whole light skin, I don't do that. I'm not colorist. No, but people definitely do. But what I'm saying is that whole colorist stuff, like sometimes it's funny, you know what I'm saying? But I just try to steer away from that because I do recognize that as like that's a divide and conquer.
Right.
Is their goal. Divide and conquer is their goal. And that plays into the agenda of divide and conquer, even though it's a small part of it, but it does. What you was about to say?
It definitely exists. Like how you saying that light skin, dark skin thing.
Yeah.
That is a ploy. Like that's a ploy. Like, cause it's real, bro. It's like by me being a darker dude, I've seen people be like, well, I just think you're more of a criminal than this light skin dude.
Word.
Just because of the color of my skin.
Word.
And
people
it
feel
came
like
from within the black community.
People feel like dark skinned guys
Right.
are more intimidating. I've definitely heard that.
You hear what he just said though?
What'd he say? Our community.
It came from our community.
So that's why you feel like
It's
black
us.
people are the most racist.
But where did we get that idea from? That idea was given to us.
Just because something given to you don't change the fact of who you end up being. So because somebody gave us the American culture, that don't mean the fact that at this point we're American. We are American.
But
we call ourselves African American, but we don't have anything that portrays the African culture to be called Africans. We have everything
unless we adopt it on our own.
But did you see how that
American.
like it was like when I said it was given to us, they had the power to create a system to change our minds, how we think about that. And that's that's racism. They had a system in place to change our minds. That's racism.
Right. So
Word.
So hold on.
Come on.
If I go and use a system and bleach my skin, put on blue contacts, and carry myself as if I'm a white man and everything, like do everything to make myself look white, I portray my culture for the rest of my life as white. If people know me as that, then that's what I become. So when you look at our behavior, people know us as discriminators, as racist.
Wait a second, because
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like, are you serious right now?
check out my
If
system.
you bleach your skin and blew your eyes,
And people only see me as white. Like, let's say,
then you're white. Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel Dolezal.
Nah, but we
So-
got her up out of here though.
But if they people ain't snitch on it, we wouldn't have never known. She ain't shit.
Okay, I see what you're saying. If you hide it,
If you hide it,
I guess you gotta.
For instance, you use the people that passed back in the day. When they
Word,
passed,
passing was a thing.
So when people passed as white or whatever, people knew them as that. They didn't change. So what they were is what that's what they became. Like people knew them as white men. So we are now blackface liberals or whatever you want to call us. We so indoctrinated with this culture,
With American culture.
We can't now go back to the position and say, "Oh, but they put this in us." We can read a book.
I mean, you
It
could
just-
wake up and say that though. Like,
Right, but it shows that it's systemic. Like they have systems in place to change our very thoughts.
America is now more
How we perceive
classism than
ourselves.
racist.
America is now more classist than racist.
We're not.
I feel like that was the agenda from the whole jump.
I don't know. I think there's classism within racism. Cause
Yeah.
I think a white rich person would still treat a white poor person better than he would treat any black person.
Facts. So that's why. Wait. Say what you just said again.
I think a white rich person would treat a white poor person better than he would treat any black person.
Oh, okay. You don't think a white rich person would treat a white poor person the same as they treat a poor black person?
Nope.
No.
Nope. They was if it was a situation where they had to choose, they're gonna side with that white man over he would side, even if it's a middle class black person.
But
He would
that's-
side with that white poor
I
person.
can agree with that. I think that's like going just that's.
So it's classism within racism.
But when you look at they won't take that poor white person and put them over Colin Powell or Condoleezza Rice, for instance. They won't put that poor white person over them. If it was a rich white man and he was trying to say, "I'm gonna choose over Colin Powell or a poor white person," he's going to choose Colin Powell more than likely.
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice.
Why would you pick that person? Why did you pick that person?
Because like, he's accepted within their culture, and that's
Right,
What I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm saying,
That
like-
classism, because he has the financial well-being to be accepted into the bourgeoisie, for instance, like to their culture. So if he can be accepted into the upper of the uppers, then that's that classism. That's not because of my race. So when we're talking about classism, we're talking about within our own class. So if we're middle class black, middle class white, we're saying we're equal in this culture now. We're not saying we're on the same level as the Donald Trump and Colin Powell. We're saying John and Jason are on the same playing field.
Okay, that's I see where you're going, but as far as it's systemic, think about that.
I got you.
You same education, same middle class status, go to apply for the same job.
Yep, I'm gonna get it before he do.
You gonna get it before who do?
For the same middle class white man.
Wait. So you saying you middle class, the white guy's middle class. Y'all
Same
both going
education.
to for the same education, same everything. Y'all both go through for the job. You're going to get it,
Yes,
or you have a chance of getting
I
it
have a better chance to get it than the middle class white class. Of the same
because of
because of like the systemic racism that we have now let be planted into the American culture. So now we have said create laws so we can get a job first. Create Rooney-
affirmative action.
affirmative action, the Rooney Rule. So all this stuff now do is tell people you need to be racist more against black people because they didn't want to be equal with you. They wanted to be better than you. So they took unsegregated schools, put us in schools that's supposed to give us equal rights, and then say, but then we're going to do something more because white people in the past were racist. Now we're going to keep breeding more racists because now white men are saying, for instance, a few years ago when I was in college, something was created called Texas men's scholarship, like white Texan Christian scholarships. They were trying to just give white men scholarships so they can go to college. And they didn't want to use this. They didn't want to give no affirmative action. Like, we don't get the same rights as them. So a lot of white people, and I had this conversation so many times in when I was in college, about white people feeling upset because they don't get the same opportunities. When we go to their schools, we're getting extra grants because we're minorities and so
right.
And that's like, you're asking for us to be discriminated against. You're asking for them to hate us because they feel like we're getting it better than them. Instead of giving it to us, give it to us equal. That's what our ancestors fought for. Martin Luther King said,
You sound like a white nationalist right now.
I don't necessarily disagree with white nationalists.
Okay.
I mean, I just think white nationalists. I think when you go to the I hate other people situation.
Yeah. Clearly, I know you don't. Yeah, I know you don't hate. I know you don't hate white people.
Like, white people are, white people on their own. Black people are great.
What specifically to me sounds like that is the whole affirmative action. Like, they are like, black people, they're getting affirmative action. I'm being discriminated against because of affirmative action. That's how white nationalists feel.
Before affirmative action, I wasn't allowed in at all.
Period.
So affirmative action is what we got me in the door. So now you're mad that I'm there with you.
No, but
that's what you're saying.
That was in 1960.
Bro, as soon as we get rid of that affirmative action, that's what we're going
it's
back to.
It's going to go back to 1960?
That's what it's going back to.
You don't agree with that, huh?
No.
Because why? Why won't it go back to the 1960s if we get rid of affirmative action?
The way society is now, I think our kids and
I don't think we'll ever. Matter of fact, as long as I'm alive, we're never going back to like the whole Jim Crow, that type of thing. I think we're specifically talking about like the workforce right now, like.
And in the workforce, I don't think it will ever go back there because what we're speaking about is that at that time we were saying history of people that were in high power. They didn't, when affirmative action started, they didn't take them from losing their jobs. So them being already pre-racism, pre-racist, pre-discriminators, already white and racist and everything, whatever they were, they already had those positions. Today, if we went into it, everybody has those positions. Blacks, whites, women, gays.
You mean Jews. Everybody's looking out for them I'm
just not that they're looking out for themselves. Like, everybody are CEOs. Everybody are owners of businesses. It's not just 100% white owners of businesses. Okay. It's now multiple different type of people are heads of businesses.
Right.
So now if we take away the Rooney Rule or the affirmative action rule, are you telling me that the heads are now going to the CEOs are now going to be automatically snapped to white people? No, that's not what it is anymore.
Okay.
White racism, like, we are now, racism is it's still alive here today, but it's not on a 80 to 20% scale anymore. It's more on a 20 to 80% scale.
Okay. So you saying 20% racism, 80% non-racism.
Right. That's played out.
Racism is played out.
Played out.
I don't agree with racism is played out, but I mean,
think about
I guess I could agree that we are not as racist, or this country is not as racist in 2018 as it was in the 50s.
I can even say we're not as racist as we were in 1998.
You could say that?
I could say that. But I know that if we were to take away the things like affirmative action, that has opened up the door for us. Like, think about some of this. Like, think about the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There are still places where they won't let us in just because the color of our skin, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's no black NFL owners. There's hardly any NBA owners because they know that that's real money. Like, they'll let us sit as a CEO at certain companies, but like real money, they still keeping us out of there. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And that's real.
I think I heard about like Diddy and some of his people trying to buy the Carolina Panthers.
Like, and that's real. Like, there are still places like a system is keeping us out. So
Is
that's
that a
race.
system?
That's a system.
I don't know. I feel like if I had a business, if I started a business and it became a mega million business, I'm going to give my business to my son, and I would hope that my son would give his business to his son. And then, if and no matter what the gender was, if it was if my son only had 3 daughters and he passed it on to his daughter, like I hope he would keep it in the family line. So a lot of those businesses, that's not that they're racist, is saying ownership. Why sell something that I'm making millions of dollars off, or I can set my family up and give it away? Not many NFL owners sell their business, or NBA owners sell their business.
But that's what I'm saying. There are opportunities for people when there comes a chance for us to buy in. They always find a way for us not to be able to buy in. Like it happens. Like they not even just selling the entire team.
You saying when it comes to real bread,
real money, like. There's been opportunities to buy into a lot of different teams, and they've systemically kept us out, and they do that for a reason. You can't say they don't.
I 100% believe they don't. Just from the mere fact that we're looking at, look at the people that's able to have that type of money. We're looking at Michael Jordan. We're looking at LeBron James. We're looking at athletes.
Very few,
and rappers.
Blacks at least.
What type of money are they making? They're making millions.
No.
And like LeBron James has got a $40 million.
Oh, you talking about the? Well, I thought you talking about the owners.
No, and the owners making billions.
They make
so
billions.
If I'm selling my business for $12 billion, and you just had a 10-year contract, say you played basketball for 10 years and you only made $40 million, you didn't keep that at $40 million for those 10 years. So $40 million times 10 is $400 million. He's not going to be able to afford me selling my business to him.
But see, that's what I'm saying. So with just like this situation with Diddy, Curry, he pulled together a group of black individuals to buy that company. A stipulation came out of nowhere that no one ever heard of with the NFL is that the income has to be solely between like 1 or 2 people. A bunch of people can't come together and do that. When people have been doing that forever in the NFL, but when it was time for black people to come together and do that, now this is a stipulation.
I get it.
So what it sounds like though, Mike, is what you're saying is there's nothing wrong with, essentially there's nothing wrong with what they are doing, and they meaning like the let's call them the elites. There's nothing wrong with what they are doing, and we should, as best we can, try and do what they are doing, like mirror them. Is that what you're saying?
In a sense, like who the Negro League failed because of what?
I'm not even sure. Why did the Negro League fail?
Nobody knows. We just talk about the Negro League not being anymore, but
why did the Negro League fail?
We could have had our own businesses.
We could have had our own league.
We could have had our own league.
Or
we could have our own
sustained
league.
our own league.
You just now said that 80% of the athletes are black. We look at a black man being loud and out of control, which is predominantly of our culture. We're very flamboyant.
Hey, sidebar. Did y'all know that black people were made to laugh inside of barrels? Like back in, like let's say like the 20s, the 30s, probably even like before. I know the 20s for sure, that black people were made to laugh inside of barrels because we were so loud, because we were looked at, animals, they looked at us like we was animals, and like we were too loud. So it was literally illegal, like lawfully wrong for us to laugh out loud. Like, so if something was funny, we literally had to like put our head inside of a barrel and laugh in the barrel. And
heard of that one.
Me neither, dog. I just heard about that a couple of days ago. It blew my mind. So then the person that said it said, that's where we get the phrase, a barrel of laughs. You heard that phrase before? Like, oh, that's a barrel of laughs. I was like, oh, snap.
That's crazy.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you said that, like, black people are naturally loud, that just made me think of that.
We're naturally loud, and we look at Ball.
Alonzo.
His dad,
the dad, yeah.
his dad is so loud, and we like, oh no, we wouldn't support his business. He like, we can create our own league, and we should get. You know, he was trying to create his own league. And
I totally agree with him.
So many black people though,
Totally,
especially
my man.
I
Word.
love him, but he was like,
man.
create our own league, and we like, no, why we
A lot of people were against him though.
create
Yeah,
his own
definitely,
league because he's
definitely.
loud and because he's black, and like, so when we don't do something, we say, oh, it's their fault that we're not doing it. No, like.
I definitely I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but there's still systems in place to keep us from getting from certain places. Now it's gonna take for us to come together to break through them systems.
Okay.
But it's still systems in place to keep us down.
So is there a such thing as breaking through those systems? I'm not even bro, I'm not sure if there's a such thing as breaking through those systems.
Why women were able to do it?
Why we free?
Okay. I think there's one answer to that because it was financially beneficial to them. Why were women able to break through that system? Because it was financially beneficial to them. Why did we become free? Because it was financially beneficial to shift, like because we went from
I got
picking
what you're
cotton to like it just became broader. Like they literally turned us into consumers.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what we went from being slaves to being consumers.
And it's their fault.
I never said that. I'm not saying that it's their fault. I don't think it's their fault. I'm just saying that's a fact, though. That's a fact because we see statistics, and I think I know what you're about to say to this, but we see statistics like we spend the most money out, but we don't. Well, I guess they say we do have the most money. We spend the most money out of every ethnicity.
Right.
Like, and I think the number is like, well, I know it's like,
It's a lot.
something about 13% spend 13 billion or something like that. But we black people spend the most money out of every ethnicity.
Okay. I got a response for this.
And the money, and let me just finish it because the money that we're spending or what we're spending our money on is literally benefiting the elites. Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Mercedes, BMW, Tesla, you know, all of these things that we see as prestige it's they stuff. And it has no value. But not to even mention that, it's their stuff. And their elites don't even wear it. Like, you're not finna see Bill Gates rocking, no, he rock New Balance, which, I mean, that's their company too.
Warren Buffett eats McDonald's.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely nuts for that. But I'm
He
just saying.
definitely gets a cup of coffee and eats a McMuffin every morning.
That's
He
fun.
got stock in the company.
That's funny. He's
He don't
strategic.
believe in stock like that.
Oh, word.
Nah, he don't believe in that.
Word. One thing I know about Warren Buffett that I definitely do agree with, one thing that he say is that you have to have multiple streams. Like, you're not gonna get rich working your 9 to 5 and investing your 9 to 5 money.
Nah,
like,
he doesn't.
multiple streams of income is definitely the key to like building wealth and stuff like that. I definitely agree
He doesn't
with that.
invest in
I think that's
anything
dope.
that doesn't pay out dividends.
Word.
So let me hit y'all on the head with this.
Hit us in the head with this, bro.
The reason why, when you were talking about like black people and us not doing business and so forth, and not what we do and what we have messed up on is we don't invest in ourselves. And
Agreed.
We don't have a sense of family. If our family members start a business, we more or less to talk about them or ask for a
Agreed.
deal
We
from
kind of
them.
talked
Definitely.
about that. Yeah,
Definitely.
we talked about that. Yeah.
So when we
that whole
do
crabs
that-
in a barrel thing. Yeah.
and that's what we. And so when we look at us versus every other culture out there, we make jokes about Hispanics living a bunch into our house, or
Word.
Asians living a bunch into our house. And we have the model,
living
like,
on the top of a restaurant while you playing.
And then we talk about our family like, when you 18, you gotta go.
Get out of here.
Right.
Like that's how, like, instead of a sense of family, like, look, get well, get wealthy,
Right.
so you can buy what you need to buy.
Yeah.
Or get out on your own and be financially stable.
Word.
Right. At
We send our
least
kids
get
out there
stable.
poor.
Word.
We send our kids out there poor.
Out-
We send-
out-
And uneducated.
Uneducated. That's a fact. I definitely want for my children to be well financially, and my goal would be like, don't leave till you get married. Like, don't leave the crib till you get married. And I'm working toward that. I'm definitely working towards setting up my children that way. Like, for real, man. I think that's important.
That's something me and the wife always said, because like I can't, like, you know, our generation, I think we were we were part of that generation that as soon as you turn 18
you out of here. Where I couldn't wait. I left my mama crib at 15.
I was just finna
She
say
kicked
that.
me out, but
I got my
same
GED
thing.
at 16 and it was over.
Yeah,
But like we always said, like, we're not even gonna talk to them. Like, you know, remember we was like, your parents would literally say, well, you just got until you graduate high school and you gone. We're literally taking that type of verbiage out of the home. Like, we're like, you can't leave until you get your master's degree.
yeah. I think that's important. Word,
You know what I'm saying? Like education doesn't end at high school.
word.
And that's where we've put in our limitation for so long as a community. Like, we have to take that verbiage
Yeah,
altogether out.
you talking about something super powerful, and that is the fact that we have to be the change.
Right.
We have to literally change the verbiage. We have to change the mindset, and it's literally up to us, like, to do it. Like, and it definitely does start at home, and it definitely does start with us telling our kids, like, look, no, you're not leaving until you've accomplished this.
Right.
Like, you can't leave until you do this. Like, I think that is so important. Another thing that's coming back is the 2-parent household.
Yes.
In the black community as well. And man, it's so important. It's so important that we, you know, latch on to that. That's like a movement that we need to be like focused on. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely bringing the doctrine, the real doctrine of Christianity, you know, to the forefront. And bringing like the 2-parent home, like the family structure, you know what I'm saying, to the forefront. I won't say bringing it back, because I mean, technically it really never left. It was just
Overshadowed,
yep, and lacking in certain, you know, certain areas, certain communities or whatever. So yeah, man, that's
a question for both of y'all.
what.
So does having a 2-home house on do you believe having a heterosexual household brings heterosexual married household leads to having
Word, because
more Christian family?
I did, man. I that was kind of vague what I said.
No, I know. I agree.
Did it
with
make
you.
it sound like
No,
it could be two gay
No,
parents?
no.
I said 2-parent household, whether it's a man or a woman. No, word, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, do you believe that? Because you talked about, like, to the real doctrine, and that's what made
Right.
me think, like, oh, that might be the reason why we may come back to God as a people, or as a more of us, because we get
Okay,
back
more
to
of us, because we're never coming back to God. I think as a country, it's over.
Yeah, as a country,
As a country, it's
No.
a wrap.
I don't think as a
we're
country.
literally getting further and further
Further
away from God, and yeah,
there are cities and states that's making bestiality legal. So
Word.
we're definitely as a
Word,
whole,
word.
as a country, we're getting further away.
But,
there
yeah.
are some real people who, I think there's more people that's beginning to actually seek something more
Right.
than what we've been receiving before.
absolutely.
But as a country as a whole, as a system, we're
Word.
getting further away.
And so that's dope too. What you just said is people that's seeking something more, and so it's up to us to deliver that true doctrine, the real Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's up to us. I think, yeah, man. Yeah. So essentially, to answer your question, like, yeah, that will, bring more people into, the appropriate lifestyle. But for as a whole, we out of here, bro.
So I wanted to take a little step back. So when we were talking about the household and things to instill in our children to move the black community forward, I think one of the things we've lacked for so long is the making sure we tell our children to complete goals.
Word.
So like for years, the thing was when you turn 18, get out my house.
Word.
It was never. Like, even some parents were saying when you get out of high school, because that was just, when you're 18, you get out of high school. But it was never when you got your high school diploma. It wasn't a goal at the end of it.
Right.
So the verbiage needs to be changed to when you complete school, when you're financially stable and able to complete such and such on your own. Like, that's where the verbiage needs to be turned to.
Yeah.
Like, complete this.
Something. Yeah.
This is a stage in your life. You have to complete it. It has to come full circle.
Absolutely.
Before you can leave this household.
Setting goals.
You have to
instill
that in them.
That's a fact.
As a child, to set them goals and accomplish them.
That's
Because
a
there's
fact.
so many people, so many young African Americans who are really out in this world and don't even really understand how to get stuff complete. Because no one was telling them this is how you complete. You do it from beginning to end. A lot of them do stuff. It gets shaky around the middle.
And then they
just stop.
bail out.
They bail out. Oh, I'm going to go do this one. You know what I'm saying? You have to teach them to complete them goals.
Absolutely. That's totally up to us as well. And that starts with something as simple. Like, man, it's so simple too, dog. Simple as sitting down with the kid and helping her with her homework. Helping him with his homework. And when he don't get it, and be like, man, forget this. This is stupid. Like, hold on, calm down.
Right.
We about to get this. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, one thing that I think is really important, and my mom did it with me, and I'm starting to do it with my kids that are with me right now, is like, put together puzzles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my mom used to sit down and get like a 500-piece puzzle or a 1,000-piece puzzle or a 3,000-piece puzzle and literally put it together and don't stop until it's done. We work a little bit at a time. Sometimes it took weeks, sometimes it took days, sometimes it took months. You know what I'm saying? But what it taught me was consistency. What it taught me was don't give up. Man, this part of the puzzle is hard because all the pieces look the same. And man, we don't know, but we gonna sit here, we gonna be patient, and we gonna work it out. And so, man, it's stuff that's so simple. That's my point. Like, something so simple as a puzzle, putting together a puzzle as a family, or playing Uno. Like, that's kind of low key how Stella learned her colors and how she learned her number. She be fronting on, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the number 8? And she be trying to pretend like she don't know. But that's literally how she learned her colors and numbers. Like, we sit down, we play Uno, and she'd be getting frustrated, want to go play with Barbie. And we'd be like, no, sit down. This is what it is. This is what, the color is red. The color is blue. You got a blue 8? Okay, put your blue 8 down. So I think it's just that simple, man.
That's good.
It's so simple, man. Instilling them
Forgot
goals.
about puzzles.
Word. We in here working this Looney Tune. It's a 1,000-piece Looney Tune puzzle, bro.
I forgot about
Bro, it's so
like
frustrating.
puzzles.
We in here getting frustrated, but we working it out though, man. You know what I mean? And that's important, man. That's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But let's switch gears. Maybe not all that much, and talk about Donald Trump. Like, what? Hip us to the latest with Donald Trump, Mike. As far as
So essentially, with the Russia meddling,
okay, yeah.
He, I guess the Attorney General basically said it was meddling and indicted a bunch of Russians. And
Meddling with the election.
With the election.
Okay.
And then he has a summit with Putin, or a meeting with Putin, and he basically just came out and spoke like against like that it wasn't. Basically, was just trying to poo-poo that it wasn't really no real meddling, and he had to come back and try to backtrack his words. and now people are in the uproar. But
So he said there wasn't no meddling when he was down there with Putin.
right.
But then he got here and had to
Like
kind of backtrack and kind of admit to that there was some meddling going on a little bit.
Yeah, but he basically said it was meddling, but it didn't affect the.
Oh, right. Tried to like low key it. Like,
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's so. And people at this point are hopped up on the election that happened 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Like
talk that talk. This what I kind of want to get into right here. What you about to say?
he at this point he's not like we are in a great economy. Most people the job rate has went down. People are not stressed anymore. We're worried about what he's saying or something that happened 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary would have been a horrible president regardless. So we get him, and we're mad that we're benefiting financially. But if we were in a situation where we weren't benefiting financially, we would be crying. I mean, get it with gas going up, but it's the summertime. Gas go up every summer.
Facts every summer.
So
every summer.
We love the economy we're in. And if you look at people, you say, what's the top 3 things that you care about when you're voting for a president or you want in your society?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say financial. We're going to say something more likely. You're going to say health.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people will be extremists to one end talk about, freedom to life, like if abortion or something. And some people will say, gay marriage, or just different things. So all the time you're going to hear in there financially well-being, financial.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's giving us the main thing that most people want, that's always going to be in people's top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just take the good and stop worrying about the small stuff he's doing, because him being whatever he may be.
So the small stuff, is it small stuff or is it just like what you kind of touched on earlier, how he's going to be who he is, and let's not let that affect, or let's let that affect us in a positive way, so to speak. I think one of the things that I said, hopefully I can quote it like I said it, was when we have the opportunity to use somebody, let's use them to our benefit. Mm-hmm. And so what I kind of equating like the office of the presidency, like it's a service.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
institution.
Right. And so what we have to do is kind of check in and see what it is that this president is doing, whoever he is, and then use whatever it is that he's doing to our benefit. Find a way to use it to our benefit, the things that he's doing.
We can't be mad as a people when people are disrespecting Obama because he has a coffee-colored skin like us, and be okay because people are disrespecting Donald Trump. We, as Christians, we believe that kings are appointed by God. Anybody in leadership is appointed by God.
The Bible says that.
So if we believe that, why should we have the position to say, I'm going to disrespect the person that was appointed by God? We may not agree with his politics.
May not even like him.
May not even like him. Some people didn't like the kings that God appointed, but they are in rulers. God said, pay unto Caesar what's due unto Caesar. They didn't say, because you're not under Caesar or because I'm your God. He said, do what you got to do for the government, but I'm your God.
Right.
So if we still loving him, what Donald Trump said, if he said, I don't like black people, or I do like black people, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
He's doing what he has to do in that position. We're going to respect his title, his position, and move on. Him saying, I don't like black people don't have nothing to do with my household. When I shut my door, I'm going to tell my children, this is what people believe, this is what I believe, this is what you're going to believe, because you're going to be indoctrinated with my doctrine.
Period.
Facts.
Why would he saying bother me then?
Facts.
Because we're not
Because we
raising
so
our
sensitive.
kids. We're allowing the TV to raise our kids. We're allowing Disney Junior or YouTube on these phones that all got apps and commercials, so our kids see them being discriminated against. So then they react to that instead of us taking that time to sit down with our kids. What the scripture say? When you're teaching your children, you teach them when you wake up, when you sit down, when you're going to bed. We're teaching them how to be men and women of God, but we saying, Donald Trump going to teach you.
Right.
Word.
Man, you articulated that so well.
Word. So do you support Donald Trump?
No.
Okay.
And that's what I say.
Word.
Like a lot of people, I had this discussion with my brother all the time, and it's like there's things he's doing that I appreciate. When I look at my 401k, my 401k looks good.
Yeah.
When I think about different things that me and my wife are trying to invest in, or things we're trying to do in the future,
Word.
things are looking real good for us right now.
Absolutely.
So then my brother said, "Oh, you's a supporter of that." My answer is no. I support my family.
Word.
I don't get mixed. I can't get carried away with what this dude. Like he don't care with what I'm doing. Why am I putting so much energy into what this dude is doing with his personal time? Like this is his personal time. He decided to lie about something that Russia's doing. That don't got nothing to do with me. He came up with that story in his personal time, and he decided to tell y'all that. But for real though, on another, like, my goal is to support my wife, and if this guy in position is helping me do this to the best of my ability, why am I against him? Why am I? I'm not gonna say why I'm against him, but why am I sending so much hatred his way?
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you articulated that very well.
Word. Why are we sending so much hatred his way?
It just shows like a lot of people have so much loyalty to parties.
Yeah, that's my whole thing.
Because that's where a lot of the hatred comes from.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not Democrat or Republican.
Me either.
Like, I literally, and also, I don't want the country to fail. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't want this country to fail. It's a lot of people going around like, well, he ain't my president, and we not Americans.
I say that.
Like, yeah, you've said
I
it.
say that.
You've said it, but
What are you?
bro, you American. We Americans.
Where were you born at?
Exactly.
Right.
Which is
right,
where.
right.
You know what I mean?
You go somewhere else and you open your mouth and talk. That
They gonna be like,
American
"Oh,
dude.
you American?
You
Yeah,
American.
exactly. But yeah, man, like, I don't want to see the country fail, man. I really don't. And you know, Donald Trump, he a jerk. He a this. He a that. You know what I'm saying? But, and I don't support him. You know what I'm saying? As far as like his, you know, just who he is overall. He's not. In my opinion, is that he's not presidential, like, at all. You know what I'm saying?
We
Like,
expect him to be this person that he's not. He's being who he is.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
Like,
And just because I don't agree with that doesn't mean that I have to like spend my energy, you know, just spewing all this crazy rhetoric.
Let me tell you
Like,
this.
he's not even really on my radar like that.
CNN love that he is who he is. Fox
Facts.
News.
They
NBC
do too.
News,
They
all
love
them
it.
love
Word.
him saying the stuff he say because their ratings are high.
Word.
And that's how news has become entertainment.
Yeah,
Like it's literally-
entertainment,
it's like,
ratings.
you got to think about who
money.
he is. He's a celebrity before he was a president.
Facts.
So they're discussing him just like they were talking about Will and Jada Smith.
Word.
Will, you know, any other celebrity. And
Word.
it's entertainment. It's for ratings. That's all it is. Like they were trying to get under your, just like we were saying earlier. Why would you give somebody that much power?
Yeah, exactly.
So the words he say on television, not even to your face, has that much power over your life.
I don't
Word.
like him though.
I'm not.
You said you don't?
I don't like him, but
Me neither.
I respect him.
I'm not even gonna say I don't
Me
like him. I just don't care for him.
Yeah, I don't like him. I just, you know, yeah.
I ain't gonna say I don't like him. I don't say I don't like nobody because ain't nobody really
worth that too.
worth
bro.
that. You know what I'm
I can
saying?
dig it. I can dig it. Word. But I don't want to see the country fail. And so essentially, I don't want to see him fail. Like, it's not going to be funny to me if he fails as
Right.
the president.
Exactly.
Like, it's not going to be funny.
And
You know what I'm
another
saying?
thing that I take it from like a military standpoint. That's what I'm get concerned about sometimes is when he
Be Marvin.
mouthing off
He
Twitter
gets reckless.
fingers
He gets reckless.
or like just the state of the country. Every other country in the world is watching us, and they see the division.
Mm-hmm.
When they can see the division, that's like just like Bishop was saying not too long ago. The reason the American dollar is not the currency of the world no more, because we're so in disarray of it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get our stuff together. Other countries see that. We look weak right now being so divided. And from a military standpoint, bro, that's exactly.
I feel the opposite way.
No.
What do you mean?
I feel like his statement is so his catchphrase is the reason why our money value was not where it is.
Wait, what is his catchphrase? Are you talking about "Make America Great Again"?
America was great when we were divided. When we were against each other. So let me just say this real quick.
Go ahead.
When we were bullies. I get inside our country, we the divide and so forth, and that's just so people can see it. It's always been that way, but we can see it on TV and YouTube and everything else. But he is making America bullies again, and that's how we got our power. When people knew not to mess with us, when people said in the past they wanted Iran to get chemical weapons or weapons of mass destruction and all that crap, when America could come in and say, "No, you ain't getting that. Sit down, pipe down, young man." That's where America needs to be again. When we are a city up on the hill, when we are the leadership, we are saying what you can do and can't do. When people not scared of us, then they're gonna do whatever they want to do. So yeah, his ploys may sound bad or he may sound reckless, but I guarantee when you look at other countries respect dominance.
I get what you're saying, and that's why I said from a military standpoint. From the fact that I know I still talk to people in the military, it's not the same. The military is divided. That's what I'm getting to. And we don't just train just army. We train with other countries, and they see division amongst our military, our people. They see our country divided. Like that's what I'm talking about. Not just the stuff. Forget the stuff on TV. Mm-hmm. Forget that. Like the real inner parts of America. Mm-hmm. Is divided, so like to the point where it's hard for the Navy to work with the Army right now. It's branches are divided. Like that's what I mean by division within the country that other countries are looking at. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Not just
you saying that makes us look weak.
That it makes us look very weak. Very. That's why they're able to. They're making financial moves against us. They're having rallies together in Iran. I mean, not in Iran, but in China and Korea and all that stuff. That's not just. North Korea and South Korea ain't been cool and forever. Now we look divided. Hey, let's get cool again.
Yeah, word.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm concerned about. That's my concern with him.
I got you.
Man.
That's just a lot to fathom for me. When I think of just different friends from other countries and like the idea of like if he wasn't in office and because we got to look at what we would have got. We either got a woman president or him. At the end, that's who it was against.
But Hillary pushed that button.
Hillary would have pushed that button. She crazy.
It was that time of the month Hillary pushed that button.
Hey man, Hillary is known for.
She gangster. No, she gangster.
She known.
No, straight up.
I just feel like
straight up. She was Bill's muscle.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's a book that literally described her as Bill's muscle.
That's why you think Obama sent out the country.
Word.
Like.
Yeah. Word.
Go get him.
Yeah.
Word.
But you don't think other countries? I believe that other countries would have had more disrespect for us if a woman was in president.
Bro,
we more
I don't know,
sexist
man.
than racist.
You know how much they fear that the queen.
Our country is more sexist than racist.
Mm-hmm. More.
Why do you compare? Is everything up against racism?
You
like more sexist than racism,
bro. You know how much the world fears the queen, bro.
Yeah.
Think about how every man fears his wife in his house. Think about that, bro. Think about like on some real stuff. Or just think about how much the world fears the queen.
Oh man,
the queen ain't nothing to play with.
That reminds me of "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
but like I don't. I think as Americans we would have thought we looked weak with her. I don't think other countries would have viewed it like
I
that.
felt
You don't
weird
think
that
so?
week. I guess I am American then.
Yeah, as Americans, that's
Some people say
that's
you
that's more of a,
sexist.
I am.
I think
You are. You a chauvinist? Yes.
I think in America, we thought that was more weak than another country would have looked at us. There have been other countries that was led by women who were completely feared.
I get that, but not the greatest country in the world.
I think because it's been like that, as far as like England is concerned, Europe is concerned. I think because it's been like that for so long, like I think that's why it's like that with them. Like, because
they're not even real in charge. They just a figurehead.
Oh, they in
just
charge,
face.
bro. Don't let that stuff fool you, bro. Don't let that
you
stuff
say they
fool
in
you.
charge.
Don't let it fool you, man.
So make America great again, because you said that. Make America great again. A lot of people, let me say that, a lot of people feel like make America great again, and then they go, when was America great? When the country was in slavery? So make America in slavery again?
No.
Like that whole thing. But you said that make America great again means make America, what'd you say, bullies again. So it
Bullies have their own opinion and their own way of thinking. They don't have to be conformed to anybody else.
but it has nothing to do with slavery or
No, nothing
Okay.
to do with slavery. It has everything to do with saying, I am who I am and you're not going to change me. And I'm going to make you change because I believe this way.
you agree with that?
America did
Make
that to
America great
everybody.
I have
again.
no idea what "Make America Great" means. I have no idea. I don't know.
I mean, think about what we've been
Okay,
doing.
that's been my question for a minute, and
don't
we
know.
kind of said like, don't worry about all this rhetoric that he's doing. Like, what is he doing for the country? But I will admit that since he's said that, that's been my question. And you know, like I said, we hear people say what it means, but I personally have never heard him say specifically what he means when he says that.
What's your breakdown? Because I've never even heard it broken down. Like,
I just think it's,
I've never gotten an answer.
One thing I do know is that let's go, make blank great again is a quote from Hitler, like make Germany great again.
yep.
And so he was spewing that rhetoric right before the whole breakdown, the whole Holocaust situation happened. It was like a like getting the ball rolling, like in the making of the whole Holocaust situation. Like that's what he was kind of indoctrinating the Germans with. Like, let's make Germany great again. Let's punish these people. These people they're not us. They are, perpetrators and, all of this other stuff. He was even on that tip, like, they aren't the real Jews. Like, I've actually read documentation to where Hitler was on that tip. Like, these people that are calling themselves Jews, they're not even the real Jews. They're perpetrators and all of this stuff. And so let's make Germany great again. Let's get rid of them. And so, that whole thing. So that's kind of what I know about, like, the whole,
Right.
make it great again.
And that's exactly where it comes from. And I believe the statement, I feel like when we take leaders, we act like we can't take what we want to take from them. That don't change he was bad in what he did, quote unquote. Killing a bunch of people in a mass genocide is bad.
Absolutely.
That does not change the fact that he was a leader and he can control people.
Hitler, you
Hitler.
mean? Mm-hmm.
So when you're a leader and your methodology works, should I not use your methodology?
So you're saying that methodology worked because the Holocaust in that era was so successful? Because, I mean, truth be told,
But what did that accomplish for Germany?
I mean, it was what he set out to do was successful. I don't know.
I'm following his lead. What did he do other than kill people?
That's what he wanted to do. That's like saying Jim Jones because he got all the people over there to drink the juice. He was what he did didn't didn't accomplish something. What he wanted
Jim
to
Jones,
accomplish,
what he
accomplished.
did definitely he was a success.
Success. It was bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? How does that tie into Make America Great Again?
Right.
Just being able to, that term was a rally call.
Okay.
So if you consider yourself American and you consider America not being good, that word, that slogan, like, "Make America great," yeah, we need to be great again. We start looking at us, and it's both previous presidents before him. We start looking at George Bush Jr. and Obama, and we start seeing, whichever party you were from, how we weren't doing what Americans thought we should be doing. We weren't good anymore. Our army was bad. Our housing was bad. So we were going through all those things at that point, and I can bring all y'all together by making this statement. That's why black people voted for Donald Trump just as much as white people. He didn't get office by just white racist voting for him. He got in office because people said, "I want to be great again."
Right, but hold up. You said the army was bad during Bush, and the economy was bad during Obama.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, us being in wars and being like
Okay.
most people wanted to be out of the war. Sure, that's why so many comedians joked about it. Bush put us in 2 different wars, and we can all agree that we wanted to be out of those wars. By the time Obama was in office, he was like, "Oh, yeah, we need it." That's why he took us out of the wars, brought people home. So that's what we were mad about filming Bush, and then the housing market going bad in the beginning of Obama's term. Everybody losing their houses, everybody going in foreclosures.
But that was from
Result of
Bush.
Bush as well,
Yeah, that
but-
was a result of Bush.
We know, but that's just being educated. But you looking at the timing of when it happened during Obama's term. So when people see it, they see, "I lost my house. Why this guy's in office?"
So my thing is, what was a greater period that we're getting back to?
When we were able to buy houses. I mean, this is relative to right now. Americans.
Oh.
It's relative to right now. So when I'm not looking back to, when I hear "Make America Great Again," my greatness only goes 30 years.
I'm not
really thinking.
I know you're not talking about like, but I'm just saying like, I think like he just threw that out there to rile people up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, people were making money during Obama. People were buying houses during Obama. People were living great during Clinton. What is he talking about? That's people
Right,
like
so does
people
that-
had
does
a
that
lot,
make America great
right,
again?
people
Go
had
back
a
to-
lot of money during Clinton. Like Clinton,
Yeah.
people pockets was full.
And it's
People
not-
were buying houses. During Bush, we had the strongest military.
Ever.
Obama, financial again. So what?
But we were divided. That's what I'm saying. But during each one of those terms, either you were Republican, you seen bad stuff during the
We're no
always
matter
been
what.
divided.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to
Yeah,
say.
we always
Like,
been
no matter what term, there's going to be a
always been divided.
place where we're going to be divided. There's always going to be an area that we're going to be divided.
And for him to
in.
take, like, he could have took something from
Well, he was pulling a
So-
party.
any
that
other
he-
Yes.
person.
So that's
you know
why
what
I
I'm saying?
need word. He took a
From
Hitler
any
phrase.
other person.
He took a Hitler phrase.
He was using a party that he knew was both of him. We gotta also be mindful of, like, he's
Because-
a smart man. He knew that this black guy just got out of office and people did not like him being in office.
Because I've literally seen clips of him on YouTube where he literally, like, the specific question, this was like in the late 80s, early 90s, the specific question was, politically, where do you stand?
Most like a Democrat.
And he literally said that I'm
I
a
seen
Democrat.
that. I seen that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe his stance
bro,
has
it was-
changed.
it was-
Obviously, it's changed,
He
right?
supported Hillary her first time when she went against Obama.
Yeah, they were
Definitely
friends.
did.
He was
Definitely
friends
did.
with.
He was at all the campaign.
Yeah, he was friends with the Clintons, or friendly.
So
He was
I
friendly
think
with
the
them.
Make America Great Again was a ploy to get a target group. He targeted a group that Ralph Nader was targeting, but Ralph Nader didn't know how to use. That and he been for different parties. That he went with a mainstream party that we only know only two parties gonna win, either Democrat or Republican. So he was using the jargon that he knew. I got this whole group now. Now I can go get the people. Now I can get other people that's fools, don't know where that term comes from, to latch on to it. When is American great to the blue collar workers? So the blue collar workers in Pennsylvania and in Cleveland, make America great again was when they were able to get jobs in the mining fields or in steel fields. So he would say, I'm going to bring steel back to America. I'm going to bring mining back to America. And that hit with them. So America great again to them was when their family, because they had a long history of families working in those jobs.
Right.
So make America great again didn't mean nothing to Hitler to them. That meant, I'm going to get a job again. My factory going to open back up. Make America great again to parents and families that lost their houses. Make America great again meant to, I'm gonna make the market good enough for you to be able to get a good job, work, because he was talking about working and getting money, and then you're gonna be able to buy a house again. That's what make America great again meant to some people, because they weren't educated enough to know that was a Hitler statement.
And it was an empty statement. It holds no weight, bro.
That's what and then I think that is definitely kind of where he's going with it. It's such an empty statement, that you know, it means something different to me. It means something different to this person. It means something so it doesn't mean anything specifically.
It's just to rile you up.
But it's just like a shotgun phrase, and then you kind of hone it down when you go into these different pockets.
Anyone with any sense know a coal mine, it's not opening back up.
People that was working in coal mines, they was like,
yeah,
like the coal industry is not about to be booming again. Yeah.
But like,
but he was talking that.
He was talking that talk.
Like what? But like his statement, like just take a step back. His statements recently with the Putin thing. So what I think he did, like what I dislike about those statements was, because you know the CIA, the FBI, we send these people all over the world,
everywhere,
in jurisdictions they really have no business in, and people let us control stuff in their countries because we give them such high praise. Like, these are elite investigators. You need to let our people in to do this, and this.
Word.
Him making that statement killed that for us. So a lot of intelligence that we were able to get using them.
Wait, him making what statement?
His statement that, well, they don't know what they do.
Oh, okay.
That was a slap in America's face. That's our intelligence. That's how we know what's going on in this world. Him making that statement, and now when our people go into these other countries,
now they gonna be going to.
I don't know what y'all doing.
Respect y'all.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all
own
doing.
Man don't even respect y'all.
Word.
That's the division I'm talking about in this country. That's dangerous. That's dangerous when we got people all over the world trying to get intelligence for us to be able to continue to control this globe.
So,
and he's out here making statements like then to come back and try and put a Band-Aid over it when you get home. Now you know you messed up. And now
is he right? Was he right
America,
though? Was he right?
Who?
Because the way you made it kind of seem like the only reason why they let us in these countries is because we big them up so tough. Like, are they worthy of that praise? Like,
they definitely are.
Okay.
So
he was wrong saying that
he was doing that because that's his buddy.
Putin.
That's his buddy. It was another empty statement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was an empty statement.
I don't know if they worth the much love we give them.
Man, they are definitely worth it, bro.
One of our greatest leaders, he just from, shout out to Arizona, Muhammad Ali. He just recently died, and one thing he was known for was saying, Viet Cong ain't never done nothing to me. The FBI definitely did something to him. So us as a people, outside of, we're Christian, but I'm talking about us as a black people. Being black, we know that the FBI, if we talking about...
Okay, but you just was saying we need to go back to the place where we strong in bullying people.
All right.
Those are bullies.
They are bullies. They definitely are bullies.
Those are bullies.
But that's what they're doing.
You know
but they bullying
so
us in this
it
country
causes
too.
it's division.
They're bullying us in this country.
So look, that's division within us, and that's what other countries see. And that's like other countries. You don't think other countries sitting around?
They saying us owning
slaves. They ain't got it
slaves
together over there like they used to.
I got
This is time
because they going against. They ain't going against. they ain't going against blacks. They saying they ain't got it together like they used to, and that's why I say I'm not American sometimes. Because when they look at who got it together, blacks ain't never had it together in this country. But a small minute period in this.
We caught up on race in this country. When another country coming for us, they ain't picking us out. Like them some black folks, we ain't bothering them.
Americans,
Americans,
non-Americans.
That's it.
You don't agree with that? You don't?
Whoa.
I think I can agree with that.
I ain't never dodged the IED that was going for only my white counterparts.
Word.
I get that. But you're fighting in their army.
Bro,
Hey, but you know what?
don't-
I think the only I'll say
don't look
foreigners that do make that distinction as far as like culture or ethnicity is like women, like the foreign women. Like they might lean more toward black men or lean more toward like black American men or lean, more toward Hispanic American or whatever.
That's like
you know what I'm saying? But
to
I think they are the only ones that make that
I think
distinction.
everybody do.
You
We
t-
just making.
nah.
We just saying a statement that, and you got to understand when you're talking about the army, you're talking about an army like. But the army, you're talking about a group of people coming in here to fight me on behalf of somebody.
I get that. I was joking, but I wasn't.
Right.
But have you ever talked to an African like who was fresh here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They would tell you.
I know exactly where you about to go with that.
You're
one.
American,
Yeah.
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 They'll tell you. You talk to someone from
And
another
they don't
country,
necessarily rock with us
rock
like
with us.
that.
Or you talk to a European, or you leave out the country. You're American. They're not gonna say you're African American.
Okay.
They're not gonna say this is a white American. This is a Mexican American. You American. Point blank. Period.
I think they do that everywhere. I think that's another version of black people being sensitive. Because if we go to if we use a Nigerian
I'm proud
and then
to
we
be
talk about
American.
somebody from Cameroon, they're going to say, "Oh, he's from Cameroon," and they're going to identify that he's not from the same place I'm from, and they're right next to each other. They used to be a part of each other. So people from a different place literally look at people and say, "You're not the same as I am." It's not saying that. I mean, I get it. Like people really look at us and
But
know
see, that's
that
a
we're not
continent. I'm talking like we're a country. You're describing a continent of Africa altogether.
No, I just said two different individual countries. I said Cameroon and Nigeria.
Right.
They right
Those
next
are-
to each other.
Right. We're talking about America. They just see us as America. Those are different countries within Africa. Those are
Right.
still different countries. America is one country. Blacks, white, Mexicans, we're all Americans. We're not gonna say I'm a Michigan or I'm a Maryland. You're an American.
I get
That's a
That's
continent
when
of
you
Africa.
come in as the army. I think as individuals.
No, that's how they view us all together.
I've been around so many different people from other countries.
I have to.
And I personally just believe that people identify with you with how you accept them or allow them to be in. When you talk about Africans come to this country, Maryland has a lot of Africans that come over, and I don't believe that. What I see is when Africans come over, they engrade themselves or indoctrinate themselves into our culture. So to say they don't distinguish, or they don't say that, they just say you're just American. When people come over here, they decide what culture they're going to line themselves up with.
And that could be in D.C. because Baltimore. My bad. I know how serious that is.
There you go,
My
that's
bad.
separatism.
My bad. Right.
Yeah.
That could be in D.C. But the Africans who come to Chicago, they don't line up with us Americans. They have their own community that we can't come in. They don't come into our community. That's how Chicago is.
That shit might be a Chicago.
But I'm saying they still come. They still just see Americans. They don't see you a black American. If when someone has a problem with America, they don't care about race. They just see Americans. That's it.
I think we have now came into a position where we fight a fight that's not our fight. And Muhammad Ali said, and when we sit here and we go against our own.
You saying militarily? You talking about as far as the military is concerned, or just
overall,
period?
Just period. We take fights that is not our fight, and we make it.
You saying as black people?
As black people, but when it's become something that's pertain to our fight about, hey, let's really start kneeling or boycott and stuff because black men are getting shot, and this will make other people get on board with saying, like this is a bad thing. People say,
What is
"Oh, no."
what is other people getting on board with saying this is a bad thing going to do?
It's going to, if the whole country's against it, it'll change. If you only have a small, minute group that can't change nothing is against it, then it ain't going to do anything.
So the more people that rally around it
Right.
is the better chance for it to change,
Let me
because
And the,
if the whole country is against it, then it's going to change. So that's what the kneeling is really about.
yeah, and
Is that realistic?
it is realistic. Let me tell you how.
No. I mean,
It's
I
realistic.
agree that if the whole country gets behind it, it's going to change. I'm talking about, is it realistic to think that that's going to happen? That's what I'm saying.
And I think it's a great group of it, and we're talking about outsiders. The Ravens were one of the teams that went to London last year, and they did the kneeling. Americans gave backlash to the Ravens kneeling on the field and kneeling in London, and the London people kneeled with the players.
What?
So you mean to tell me another country can say, yeah, it's bad for black boys to be being shot in the streets in America?
Unarmed black people.
Unarmed black people being shot in the streets in Maryland and in the United States, but Americans can't touch on board. They only going to see you disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the national anthem. But we line up on with the national anthem and we sing it like it wasn't written and wasn't words in there that we disagree with. We sing something, we get mad when Donald Trump say the blacks, but we sing the national anthem that has the word, that has discriminatory language in it.
Well, I think the same people that get mad when Donald Trump say the blacks are not singing the national anthem. I don't think if you're mad at Donald Trump for his racial inappropriateness, I don't think that you're standing for the singing the national anthem.
I think
That's empty? Is that wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't just know. I just think it's too many of us that sing it and stand up for it and agree with it. And I think majority. I would say. Would you guys say that when Donald Trump say the blacks, would you say it's more than 90% of us that get upset with that?
Say that one more time.
When we say 90,
When he refers to us as the blacks,
would you say 90% of us get upset with that?
No.
Really?
what percentage
I don't
do you say?
think you. I think.
Oh,
Y'all probably go like this,
Say it, bro.
bro. I think you're giving more black people more credit than they deserve, bro.
Y'all not gonna like this.
Like,
I agree.
for real.
Like black
you-
people are
like,
dumb.
No,
for the most part.
don't do that. We ain't
I'm
doing that.
asking you, is that what you saying? You said, bro, you're not finna put me in this hole.
No, we ain't doing that.
hating me.
I think Brandon about to agree with me. Go ahead, Brandon.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that there's a lot of people that's not paying attention that much
Right.
to not, like that's not on their.
You're not checking for it.
They're not checking for it,
Mm-hmm.
and you expecting like, and then there's also, just like we were just saying earlier, there's a lot of people, black people, that voted for Donald Trump, who don't see nothing wrong with what's going on with police brutality. Just like there's a lot of people that's not even checking for. I know some people who are still in the hood, who waking up watching the TV, what's going on in the news, they don't watch sports. They don't have time to. They not checking for this stuff. Just like there's certain people that's just like, they don't see nothing wrong with it. So you saying if everybody get on board with it, do you think that's realistic?
Yeah, I don't. You think it's a chance that the whole country, because I mean obviously, but the majority of the country gets on board with this?
Let me tell you this. I believe if
I mean specifically
go back to the beginning,
this, like,
this exact topic. If we go back to the beginning of the podcast when we talked about the pizza and them bringing people in to control what he was saying, if the people didn't care or if people didn't have power, they wouldn't even worry about bringing somebody in to control him. People have power when we band together. So
you saying because there's a chance they responded to it that way because there is a chance that majority of Americans will get on board with this, and they don't want to risk it.
Right. So what they did immediately was change what they were kneeling for, and then made that the statement. Made them kneeling against the national anthem. So then people was like, okay, we want to talk about the national anthem, and then they start responding to the national anthem. So then the
flag
conversation got changed. Like, oh, but this country, they fight for you. We do this. The military, every military man fought for you and put their life.
They made it about the military when it was never about the military. They made it about the flag when it was never about the flag. They made it about the anthem when it was never about the anthem.
So if we stayed on target, what would it have did? It would have made people say, we probably need to not get upset about that. We probably need to find out something to do.
Something to do.
Something that, like,
to combat police brutality.
Or to hide it. To hide it better.
Oh, you saying that's what the other side did. Like, we need to hide this.
We need to hide this.
We need to make it about the military and the flag and the anthem.
So we won't be talking about police brutality. So we won't say we need to train the police more. So we can say we're not going to give the police military rifles against their own people. So we can say, we won't say this is bad. We're going to change the whole topic because we need to be protected in this country as well.
Our money needs to be protected.
And that's a thing when we sit there. If we change a topic that people come up with, we told black people, you have no right to protest anymore.
That's why I think it's not realistic, bro. Because the powers that be, they not gonna let nothing like this happen, and we're literally seeing it.
And that's why I was saying, like, if we can't even get all the black people,
right?
That was what I was really saying. Like, you giving the black people more. We can't even get all the black people. To make it important. So you want to get the entire country?
No. Just the black people. If the black people get on board,
well, you originally did say if the entire country would rally,
we'll see it. We'll recognize it, and that's the same thing I was saying about the Black Panther. If we use the Black Panther movement for example, they weren't saying we're going to target the whole entire country. We're going to target a group of people to say this is what we believe, and we're going to move them forward. And the reason why they got a group of people to say this is what we believe and move them forward, that's why they was able to get assassinated and get people to respond to them because they got on board. When we don't get on board with something, ain't nothing gonna change. And that's look at us as compared to every other group of people in America. When Asians come in, they ain't beefing with each other. You got Asian markets, and they serve every type of Asian out there. When you look at African communities, they serve every type of African out there. What we do is say, I ain't the same black as him. I'm from Detroit. This nigga from Flint. I ain't the same as him. He from Baltimore. He from Chicago. He from Detroit. Like, instead of saying we are people, if they in the inner city and they're wearing baggy clothes and they're jumping around and they're uneducated, I don't agree with them because they ghetto. We the only people who use them words because we the only people that's racist towards our own people. We say things and then we like, we want other people to have respect for us. We want other people to not say nigga, but we sitting there and we got hate towards ourselves because we want to be accepted by someone else instead of saying I'm going to accept who I am. I want to say I'm okay and I'm comfortable with being me and I'm going to respond as a group. That's why our leaders get out here and they everywhere else and they not building up us. One of our greatest leaders said, he don't care about, Bush don't care about black people. Then he go out and say something asinine after that.
This guy just called Kanye West one of our greatest leaders.
He was. He a spokesman for us.
Okay.
He black and you speak for us. You speak. It means
he was a leader. He was up there. He was up there.
He was up there.
He was up there for us. He was definitely up there for us, man.
He lost his mind.
Even if he wasn't before that statement made him one of them. but I definitely get what you're saying, bro. Like you made some very valid points. I just don't see.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either.
And it's not. Of course, I would love for it to happen. Just seeing the country the way it is, bro. I just don't see it.
Is it wrong for black people to have a leader? And speak for black people and say, I'm going to rally black people. Not to say I want you to go against white people, I want you to go against Asians, but is it wrong for us to say, we're gonna have a black leader, and we this how black people should do it, and speak on behalf of us, and try to.
I don't think I don't think it'd be wrong. I just don't think we need it. Like, I think everybody needs to lead their own household. Like lead a community. We don't need no one trying to lead all of us. Like, lead your household. You do the right thing in your household. You do the right thing in your household. We'll be good. That's what I believe.
I hate you. I just think that's real. That's hard to do when you have a generation where we think about different wars, and what they do when they go to wars is they take in the past they would go into a country and then they would take out all the men and then change the country because they took all the men out. So now you're going to have my culture. Now you're going to have who I am. What they did is they took all the black men out of the households, and now they're saying you're going to have our culture. You're going to have who I am. And now you're telling us we don't need nobody to teach you how to be a black man because we are black. It's not going to change. That's not going to change. So because we're not indoctrinated from a long line of your parent teaching you, your parent teaching you, and your parent teaching you. Now we have a whole different culture. We need somebody to come back in and integrate us to who we are. We need identification. We're so lost. That's why we're out here wearing jeans down to our ankles because we think that's who we are. That's why we go against each other because we don't identify with one another.
See, that's what I said this the last time. Like, this is something we've seen before. Every time we've had a leader step up, from going back to Nat Turner, MLK, like as soon as they chop the head off of our leader, we fall again. Why keep doing the same thing over and over? You lead your house, I lead my house. We come together as a community. We disperse as a community. We ain't gonna put one person at the top because we've done this already and it doesn't work.
I get that. I'm not saying one individual leader per se, but I'm saying like a methodology or a thought process. So when we get people out there that's giving us the thought process, like Boyce Watkins or Umar Johnson or Michael Dyson, they're giving a mindset to black people, and we're saying, nah, I can't agree with that. I'm not gonna rock with that because we want to be separate. We want to say, but if we identify with self, then we're saying we're not like white. So we're saying we're putting ourselves back into a box, and then we're going to be not together. They 3 different heads doing stuff for the black community, teaching you how. What the black people are saying are poetic. When Michael Dyson black lyrics, he's telling us how poetic we are. When Boyce Watkins used Jay-Z lyrics, he's saying, look, we using these words and putting this stuff together. These are writers.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that instead of accentuating the negatives of all 3 of those leaders, then we should be taking the positive aspects of all 3 of them and kind of like blending it all together, using it to our benefit.
Right.
How important is being black in comparison to being Christian?
They're 2 different worlds.
It's 2 different worlds.
It's not a comparison.
So there's not a comparison.
Like the importance of being a Christian, the importance of knowing you're not going to hell. Identifying with being black
is one more significant than the other? I think that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, being a Christian
is more significant than being black.
Yes.
So is that how you feel too, Mike? Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
You would agree with that?
I would agree with that.
So then where does this conversation fall in regards to that? Like, I get it is no real comparison. So how important do we make this?
And I know where you're getting to, because as we were both sitting here and we were having dialogue, I stopped, and it was just like, you said something earlier, like if we just bring back real doctrine to the forefront,
right?
I think that we're looking in all these other directions when we know the real answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I literally, as we were saying, that's what popped. The Lord told me, like we're trying to come up with a natural solution.
Word.
When we know the real answer.
Word. And even within like the doctrine, like unity, because that's really what, at the end of the day, that's what the conversation always boils down to. Like, we need to just come together. You said it. Come together as a community, disperse as a community. I lead my household according to, you lead your household. And so unity is like a key principle in Christianity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't think Christianity tell you not to be unaware. I think me being a Christian, I think I have to be practical as well.
Practical, what does that mean?
In life, like,
what are you saying though?
I understand like that when I work, my taxes are going to come out of my check.
Right.
When I go down the street, I may be discriminated because of my brown skin.
Right.
So that doesn't change the fact that I'm a Christian and I'm supposed to love my neighbor, but I'm also supposed to be aware of
the things that's going on. So how do you respond? How do we respond? Sometimes I struggle with this. How do we respond as Christians to that stuff that you're talking about, like being discriminated against? Because there's some people out here like, you ain't being discriminated against, you ain't experiencing this, you ain't experiencing that. When like I definitely, like I said, I struggle with how should I respond to certain things, like when I'm faced with them. So how do you think, as a man of God, like how do we respond to the hardships that we?
I'm gonna tell y'all something. And this is the truth. I don't respond no more.
Okay.
For what? I know my truth. I know who I am as a man. Like your words can't belittle me. I do enough in my life. I lead a family, bro. Your words or however you think, like I can't let it affect me. I can't, because I got too much to lose.
I get that.
I've learned to stop responding. Because the thing is, I think I've learned to stop responding because I didn't want to try and find out a way to respond other than what I knew how to respond.
Word.
So I just stopped responding. Like I stopped trying. You know, because it always went wrong.
Yeah.
So why am I trying to find a way to do the right way to do the wrong thing?
Word. Word.
I don't think responding is the wrong thing.
No, so here's what, because he did tackle like responding to what I would say is maybe like the racial yeah. But what about the other things like types of discrimination?
I think the best way to respond is to be honest, and I think we have to be honest with ourselves. So I felt like growing up, my mom would my parents would tell me, like, when you go outside, know how to behave, know how to respond to the police. And that also came with me being a Christian. Like, I didn't change the fact that, like, you still had to respect your elders and they can line up, one with another. So being black, you have to know what, like, who you can say something back to and how to say something back and how to carry yourself in certain arenas. And as being black, I feel angry when I see a police officer shoot a black guy in the street and he's bleeding, and then you'll see a video out there of a white guy going to a church and shooting up a black church, and they arresting him peacefully. That upsets you, but what you have to do is, when you get up, you're allowed to get upset. It's how you respond.
Right. That's what exactly. So
right.
As a Christian, I can get upset by that. I can say that's not right. But I say, okay, how am I going to go out here and respond to these people, or to people that may shoot me? So when I'm in a car and we get pulled over or something like that, how am I supposed to act? How am I going to? But I'm still going to get fearful because I know life. I've seen this. So people natural responses. If I put my hand on the stove and it's hot and I burn myself, if I'm not going to put my hand there again, or I'm going to make sure I put my hand on there when it's off. So now I'm going to, like, all right. So he told the police officer he got a gun on him, and he responded that way. How do I now respond better than that next time? Let me put my hand on the steering wheel and tell them, hey, I may have a gun in here, and this is what I'm doing,
right? Because
I know I may get shot. So it's just like, it's really just saying, hey, control yourself, watch what you're doing out here, but still show love. still shows up. Everybody's gonna be discriminated against.
Word.
And like when I say I don't respond at all, like I don't respond. And the thing is, in my head, it's like when people see me respond differently, it does something to them on the inside. It's not, you know what I'm saying, when they do something to you and they want that response.
See, told you,
So
you
when
niggers were.
when I don't respond, I know in my head it's like, all right, Lord, now deal with that person so they don't treat the next person like that.
Word.
So I know that they're
Word.
gonna they feel something when I don't respond the
Yeah,
way they
yeah,
want me
yeah,
to.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all the thing I tell myself all the time. When I don't respond to you, if you do something wrong to someone, you do it for a reaction.
Being a Christian don't make you passive.
No, I'm far from that.
No, not necessarily you.
No, I know what you're saying, but
No, what do you mean? What do you mean? Being a Christian doesn't make you passive.
If I'm
So
a
what?
Christian and somebody like attacks me, I have the right to respond to, and it ain't gonna say I'm gonna sit out here and say curse word, blank, blank, and fight back.
But there is a way
right
to
get you up off me, and
there is a way to respond.
you can correct people.
oh yeah,
You
definitely.
have that right to correct people. If you're gonna get out of pocket and call me an N-word, I'm gonna like, hey, watch your mouth, and I'm okay, and I can say that. And then that still won't take me out of being a Christian.
Right.
They take me out of saying there's a certain way you're going to deal with me, and there's the same way, and there's a certain way I'm going to deal with you. If we don't start going into arenas and saying, hey, people going to keep getting worse and worse. So when I deal with school, when I go into that arena, I'm saying, hey, this is the way you're going to treat my kids in your school. This is the way they're going to learn. If I don't agree with your holiday, they're not going to serve that holiday. If I don't agree with your sexual orientation class, they're not going to have that sexual orientation class. If I don't agree with you doing certain things in any atmosphere, I'm going to say as a Christian, and I'm going to be, and I'm still going to be a black Christian. And if they're a white Christian, if a white Christian friend of mine say, hey, come on to church, come on here with me, I want to talk about this together, let's sit down and politic. It ain't about our race. It's about saying I have the right to correct somebody if you respond to me inappropriately. If I heard a black person respond to a Christian negatively, for instance, I was part of the Christian community at my community college. They had a lot of Muslims that would come up to you, Nation of Islam. When you know how Nation of Islam talk about Christianity when they talking to you. White friend of mine was being dogged up by Nation of Islam. You gotta correct them. So if I correct him, that don't mean I'm saying I hate you. Right. You're a brother. You black just like I'm black. But hey, you come at against my brother as well. We share the same faith.
Yeah.
So when I correct you, we move on about our business.
That's true. I was just speaking on the way I deal with it.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to not respond. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta just, say nothing. Straight up.
I think what I always keep in my a wise man once said nothing.
Word, I saw that before. Yeah,
that's always a wise man once said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
who's quick to speak.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, and I know that I can
study to be quiet.
Yeah.
That's the word.
It can go left for me real fast.
Yeah. So. Word. Man. Wow, man. This conversation has been great. A lot of things we've touched on before. I think we're gonna have a lot of repeat conversations doing this, but I mean, I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy. That we spark these kinds of conversations. We definitely need to get this stuff out here so that we can start, just kind of talking about it, and kind of, realizing that, man, we really can't be divided. Division is the worst thing that has plagued our country. I believe it.
I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
I agree
I thought you was like, that's not true. But I mean,
don't be equally yoked with unbelievers. And we just believe, just because we in this country don't mean everybody believe it.
So, and I agree. I totally agree with that. Division, but I will still stand by division division plagues us. Mm-hmm. The real separation, though, I mean, we can't front like, you know what I'm saying, we line up with everything. We're human beings, and we're men of God, more importantly. And so the real separation is good and evil, if we want to just make it, plain and simple. Right. You know what I'm saying? The real separation is good and evil. And so when we side with good, we are on the right track. Right. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, but man, these conversations are fun. You know what I'm saying? For me, these conversations are fun. Are. And we get to see how other people think. And then, we see how other people think. We ain't gotta, I don't hate y'all after this. I don't hate y'all.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's important as men of God to know that it's all right if we have different points of view. But at the end of the day, man, we definitely do have to come together as a community and disperse as a community. I think that's definitely what I'm going to title this podcast to. Together as a community, disperse as a community, some variation of that. But, man, this was cool, man. This was cool, man. I appreciate y'all for joining us at the Honor Amongst Men podcast. Let's get that theme music, you know what I'm saying? So no, I appreciate y'all for joining us though, man. And we will definitely see y'all next time on the Flowers Now Network and the Honor Amongst Men podcast. Peace.
We appreciate y'all.